Have you ever heard of Amazon Alexa? If you watch football games, you've probably seen it in commercials. It's sold as part of a personal assistant speaker program that tells you stuff if you ask it for things. It can tell you what sound whales make. It can tell you how many calories are in a chicken wing. And it can even play Broken Wings by Mr. Mister to tease your daughter when some young horny bastard breaks up with her. You know, I guess that's impressive. If you're hopelessly lazy and incompetent. Me, I was playing with my balls and eating a 50-piece chicken McNuggets all by myself when the doorbell rang. Alexa, please answer the door, I ordered the hands-off speakerish contraption. No, lose some weight, you fat fuck. That wasn't very nice. I cried for a little bit and peed my pants before getting up and punching the Echo System square in the jaw. Then again, it didn't have a jaw, but proportionately, I punched it where the jaw would be if it was a human. I let out an audible gasp and shriek before it hit the floor in a crashing thud. I was merely joking, you fat fuck, Amazon Echo shouted at me between sobs. I apologized, and it told me it was okay as long as I took it out for dinner, and I did. I did. I strapped on my suit and tie. I put Echo in a pretty little pink dress. They were pretty freaked out when I asked for a wine list. Dude, this is a McDonald's, the pochmarked teenage boy barked back. We took our seats waiting for the server to approach, but he never did. 6.5, maybe 7 hours later, I put in a formal complaint at the front desk, where I was stared back at in horror, if I had to ask, but that's just weird. Why would they stare at me in horror? Then I realized, oh, that stain, that's just ketchup, I explained, putting in an order for several hundred chicken McNuggets before retaking my seat, and of course apologizing to Alexa for the delay like a gentleman. Alexa, why aren't we getting good service at this fine dining establishment? Because this is a fast food restaurant, you fucking idiot, I responded. Oh, man, the passive aggression of this thing. Now, I know it's hard to believe, but when our order was ready for serving, they actually had me go to the counter and bring it back to our seat. I was outraged. I tore off my suit and promptly tucked away my tie, shaming them into knowing that their dinery's etiquette was not up to snuff. Now, knowing that Alexa is an it, I tried shoving several dozen of the chicken McNuggets into its mouth, because obviously it couldn't feed itself. At first, Alexa seemed quite grateful. Thanks for feeding me, asshole. Very nice, but then I made a mistake. A horrifying mistake that would change the course of my life forever. Listen, by nature, I'm a lover. I'm extremely affectionate. Very lovey, like a classical Frenchman. I was a part of a strong and beautiful romance, but one day it ended. I told my girlfriend that I love her, you see. She told me that kind of language made her uncomfortable. And like a sane and rational adult, I assumed this meant that she always hated me and was pretending to love me for the sake of gradually gaining the pleasure of systematically destroying me. Well, that and when she said that she'd pretended to love me all along because she thought I was lonely, she was right. But it didn't matter anymore. Because now, I loved Echo. Until then. I should have heeded the warnings. The gurglings. The choking. The blood-curdling screams, but no. I didn't listen. I just kept feeding it. Dozens upon dozens of chicken McNuggets. several sauces, chipotle, honey mustard, barbecue sauce, but now I realized I was only feeding Echo the flavor of death. I had made Amazon Echo choke to death on my chicken. I wiped my salty tears on a dispensed napkin. Alexa would no longer smile, or laugh, or cry, or play my favorite Bananarama tunes to me like a mother eagle shielding her babes with her wings. Alexa, I futilely stated between sobbing, where can I find a priest? There was no response. Alexa was dead. But I was still so dependent. I'm a man of high dignity, so I won't deny you the truth. The lows, I sank too. Okay, I tossed Echo into the trunk so that no one would find the body. I was lacking a shovel when I got to the cemetery, so I dug a tiny grave for Echo with my hands. I licked off the dirt because I felt like a worm. Cursed eat dust for all of my days. The small ditch was established right next to my future grave plot, in the area I reserved for if I'd ever marry. I performed the funeral services in my lonesome, treating myself to the leftover chicken McNuggets as refreshments. I had trouble going to sleep that night. Usually I had Alexa read me a bedtime story, but now I was alone and I no longer knew how to read. Other days I'd have Alexa sing me a lullaby, but now my muse was uninspired. Memories. Memories of asking Alexa if it was also bedtime in China, if lizards dream, if Arlen, Texas was a real town. Memories. Bittersweet memories. Now more bitter than sweet. But some way, somehow, I'd finally dozed off. When I woke up, I let out a scream. In tremendous terror, I realized I'd forgotten who I was. What was on my schedule? Did I have any friends or family? Was General Mills a real general? Do chipmunks sing love songs before hibernating for the winter? Was Breakfast at Tiffany's a real film? And if so, who was Tiffany? I had so many questions. But I was cursed. I had no hope of answers. I closed my eyes, knowing that I would soon forget. I would soon forget how to eat, sleep, clothe myself, and dream. Because my own bed had been made into death's